Here's your First Warn Weather forecast first, sponsored by Anderson Collision Center. Visit driveanderson.com.
A much more comfortable day across the state line today. Our temperature sitting at the 80-degree mark, but lacking the humidity of the last several days as our dew points have been sitting in the 50s and low 60s. 80 in Rockford, as I mentioned, 81 in Freeport, 78 in Rochelle, 77 in DeKalb, 79 up in Janesville. A little bit of cloud cover drifting from some of these southward storms. We will stay dry here through the evening underneath the influence of high pressure, and that will allow our temperature again to dip back to the low 60s. We'll rebound going into tomorrow, again back into the 80s, although a little bit higher. I'll let you know if the humidity starts to tick up as well. That's coming up in your most trusted forecast a little later.
Working to keep a memory alive, the loved ones of Raymond Jackson come together for the 4th annual Memorial Ride. Plus, share the love for Volkswagens. Car enthusiasts come to Rockford to show off their sweet rides and enjoy a picnic. And honoring even more lives with civic duty, the State Line organization spending their time cleaning up and fixing the graves of our fallen heroes.
Live from WTVO 17, this is Eyewitness News at 5.
Good evening. Happy Sunday. I'm Rian Wild. Thanks for joining us tonight. Choosing to move forward, that's what the family and friends of Raymond Jackson are doing. Jackson was a Rockford man who police say was killed in a crash back in 2021. Officials say the crash was a result of a suspect fleeing police. Today, Jackson's loved ones organized the 4th annual Memorial Ride to help keep his memory alive. Often known to his friends as Red, they say Jackson enjoyed riding alongside them, and this is the perfect way to continue doing what he loved.
The whole brotherhood is all his friends. We all grew up. We're the southeast side of Rockford. We all grew up over there, so we're a tight-knitted family over there. Even though we're not family, we're family. So when something tragic like this, we stick together, and we're there for Tracy. We're there for the kids and whatever they need, and we'll always be there for them for the rest of their lives, you know.
Jackson's 2 kids were involved in the crash with them and survived. They say they will continue to celebrate their dad's life every day. Well, if you saw a bunch of cool-looking cars heading towards Alpine Park today, you weren't going crazy. The State Line Volkswagen Club hosted a picnic and car show this morning. Volkswagens from the Chicagoland area came to Rockford to show off their sweet rides and enjoy the outdoors. This club started in 2010 before new owners took it over in 2015. Today, they celebrate the 10th anniversary. It started as just a bunch of guys wanting to show each other their cars, but over the years, it's flourished into a family.
We all get together as a family. Everybody brings their kids, and we have fun. Like when we're rolling, like nobody stays behind. We all roll like a group, and it's one of the key ingredients of this group that we stay together and we never let nobody behind.
Gonzalez says the picnic is something they've been planning for months, and they were pleased with the turnout today. Well, after sending letters yesterday to Mexico and the European Union hiking tariffs to 30%, President Trump is now touting his success with NATO. The president claimed he's not only succeeded in getting countries to do trade deals, but that he's also brought NATO in line. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte plans to meet with Trump in Washington this week. The visit comes after the president said NATO allies can transfer U.S. weapons they already have on hand to Ukraine. A suspect in the death of Officer Crystal Rivera is set to appear in court tomorrow. 27-year-old Jalen Arnold was allegedly involved in the chase that ended with Rivera being shot by a fellow officer. CPD says Arnold had violated his parole and was illegally carrying a gun as a convicted felon. Arnold is also facing felony armed violence and drug charges. Adrian Rucker of Freeport is also charged in the case with pointing a gun at officers during the chase. A local organization is putting our veterans first. 815 Stone Scrubbers spent the day cleaning the gravestones of local Civil War veterans. Eyewitness News reporter Tyler Sorensen took part in the cleaning process to learn how it helps keep the memories of our heroes alive.
Cleaning gravestones of Civil War veterans to make sure they are remembered forever. That was this weekend's goal for the 815 Stone Scrubbers.
I come from a long family of veterans, so veterans all have a special place in my heart, and so I feel sometimes they're forgotten about, and that's really why we really focus on veterans.
This is not the first time that the Rockford organization has come out to cleave gravestones at the Cedar Bluff Cemetery, as they started in May of this year. But outsiders say they've noticed the touch-ups at the cemetery.
I've had a family in California reach out to me saying, hey, I saw that you cleaned the gravestone. It was uploaded on Find a Grave that it was recently cleaned. Thank you so much for doing that.
The group wants to inspire those who join them and teach them how to keep these memorials clean.
It would be cool to even be able to go back to like the Belvedere Cemetery and possibly, I haven't talked to anyone, but maybe talk to them about cleaning some there.
This weekend's volunteers accomplished the group's goals and even cleaned more than they anticipated.
With all the volunteers that showed up yesterday, we knocked out of the park every single gravestone that we had marked, which was about 32 graves. So that was very, very appreciative that they came on out and helped us do that. Today we are just trying to clean up the cemetery a little bit, trying to get some of these headstones that are surrounding these veterans cleaned up so it just looks a little bit nicer.
Reporting in Winnebago County for your home team, I'm Tyler Sorensen.
Well, what's better than eating barbecue on a Sunday? Eating barbecue on a Sunday with dogs. The second annual Bark and Brew Barbecue was held at Coach's Corner out in Belvedere. The fundraiser is held by Small Town Heart, which is a local party planning business. The local Belvedere Rescue was there to showcase adoptable dogs and puppies for guests to visit with. And there were local crafters, food, and drinks to enjoy. All proceeds from today's event went directly to the rescue on site. 4 Paws for you forever.
We do have a need that is unbelievable. My mom and dad have been doing this for 23 years, and they have never seen the need for homes as bad as it is now. We get 20 emails a day of dogs that are going to the kill list. We need to find homes. So that's why we go out every Friday, Saturday, Sunday to find homes for these dogs.
If you're interested in helping the rescue or other rescues in the state line, you can visit adoptadog.com. Coming up next, a new threat of severe weather arrives in Texas. The endless work rescue teams are doing 1 week after the deadly floods. When we return.
Our high temperatures today made it only to 81 with a lot less humidity, but we'll start to see those numbers tick up, temperature and humidity values as we head into the week. I'll let you know if that could bring us any rain chances coming up in just a few minutes.
You're watching Eyewitness News, your home team, with Rianne Weil, Drew Collins, and meteorologist Jordan Wolf.
Now to the flooding in Texas that left at least 129 people dead. A new threat arrives to the same area just over a week after that historic flooding happened. ABC's Jacqueline Lee is in Texas with more.
A new flash flood emergency in central Texas as torrential rain led to a rapid rise of the Lampasas River. This new threat comes as more heavy rain is hindering the search for victims of last week's historic and deadly flash flooding in the Texas Hill Country.
We have a mom, we have a dad, we have a kid, and a dog. They all need rescued.
Authorities released some of the videos of first responders rushing into action over the July 4th weekend as the rain was still coming down. Hundreds were rescued from trapped vehicles, flooded homes, and even clinging to trees. At least 129 have been killed in the flash flooding. Among the dead, 17-year-old Malaya Hammond. Matthew and Elizabeth Hammond discovering the body of their daughter on a riverbank.
She looked so peaceful. I could look beyond all the bruising and everything else. She was so beautiful, and I was able to hold her one last time the way I did when she was a baby.
The family minivan fell off a bridge during the flood, and the current sucked them all out. The parents and Malaya's siblings were able to get to shore, but Malaya was lost. Meanwhile, DHS Secretary Kristi Noem is defending the federal response to the flooding. She denied that a new policy requiring every FEMA contract worth more than $100,000 be personally approved by her led to a slower deployment of resources.
Those claims are absolutely false. Within just an hour or two after the flooding, we had resources from the Department of Homeland Security there helping those individuals in Texas.
There had been reports that thousands of calls from flood victims weren't answered because Noem did not renew call center contracts. Jacqueline Lee, ABC News, Kerrville, Texas.
It was a much less humid day out there for us today, but we did see some haze in the skies. When we come back, meteorologist Jordan Wolf is in to time out our rain chances for the week. His full forecast is next.
Now, your first warn weather forecast from meteorologist Jordan Wolf.
It's a much more comfortable day across the state line today. Temperatures have struggled to make it to the 80-degree mark in some spots. We briefly tagged 81 in Rockford, now sitting at 80 degrees there, 78 in Rochelle, as well as in DeKalb and Poplar Grove. Harvard also at 78, 79 in Woodstock, Janesville, as well as out in Dixon. Low 80s elsewhere. Weather watcher Terry down in Genoa reporting 79 degrees, a dew point of only 62, a westerly wind about 7 miles per hour, and that higher pressure overhead leading to relatively dry conditions. Not quite the case for areas well downstate, where there's a little bit of cloud cover even well south of I-80. A lot of those scattered rain and thunderstorms, though, progressing well off to our south, leaving us dry, although we are still left with a little bit of that lingering cloud cover, as well as some lingering smoke and haze in the atmosphere. A little bit of that mixing down to the surface, but not enough to cause any major concerns with any air quality issues. But we are still going to have that potential for a hazy sunset tonight. A look with those hazy skies with our Mercy Health SkyTrack camera out in Poplar Grove, brought to us by the Poplar Grove Airport. There's a look with that wildfire smoke. Still a pretty short burst of that here into the evening, but quickly fading out. Might see another renewed effort of that wildfire smoke possibly going into tomorrow, but most of that likely remains well up to our north. With the limited impacts of that wildfire smoke, only a few clouds drift through the area tonight, down to 62 for that overnight low. Just a few clouds, otherwise fairly pleasant, and we'll maintain that southwesterly wind a little bit on the lighter side. Very similar temperature to where we were just earlier this morning. Temperature tomorrow will start to rebound a little bit higher. We're back up to the mid-80s this time around with a little bit more sunshine. 86, a southwesterly wind, still about 5 to 10 miles per hour. As we head into these next few days, we'll start to see a slow uptick in our humidity. Dew points right now still sitting in the low 60s and even 50s for some spots, but that more humid feel will be back as we go through Monday and into Tuesday. Dew point numbers climbing close to that 70-degree mark for both Monday and for Tuesday, and then Wednesday could tag the low 70s, and that comes with a little bit more of an active pattern as well. We stay dry at least for Monday and even for much of Tuesday as that high pressure influence remains strong. Mostly sunny sky likely possible as we head into tomorrow. A few clouds drifting through the area up to our north and our northwest on Tuesday along a cold front, but likely many spots here will continue to remain dry. We'll maintain a chance for maybe an isolated shower, thunderstorm or two on Tuesday, but our better chances will arrive as we go into Wednesday and into Thursday. That's with a little bit of a brief unsettled pattern that we have. We'll have this low pressure system kind of drifting through the area, a couple of waves coming along with it, and that will bring the renewed chance for a few scattered thunderstorms. These will have abundant moisture to work with, so any thunderstorm could produce some pretty heavy rainfall within that Wednesday and going into Thursday window, but the coverage of which likely still remains fairly scattered as opposed to the widespread storms that we had not all that long ago. Temperature-wise, we'll also start to see those numbers climb, 86 to 88 Monday into Tuesday. That isolated chance for a rumble of thunder on Tuesday, but better chances and coverage arrive Wednesday into Thursday. Back behind that, we get another renewed push of some of that drier air in place, once again dropping those overnight lows to the low 60s and much more comfortable humidity again by this time next weekend.
All right, thanks, Jordan. Well, Drew's next with sports. The Winnebago County Amateur Golf Tournament wrapped up today. Stay with us to learn more. And the Cubs face the Yankees in their final game before the All-Star break. The highlights coming up next.
Now sports with Drew Collins.
It's the final game before the All-Star break. The Cubs are trying to head into the second half of the year with a series win against the Bronx Bombers. Bush leading off today against Yankees righty Will Warren, and Bush sends this ball to deep center field to give the Cubs some early momentum. That's his 19th of the season. Shota Imanaga was on the mound for the Cubs. He's still looking for his first win since his injury. He pitched 7 innings, allowing just 2 hits and 1 earned run. He also had 6 Ks on the day. 2 of those came from Mr. Judge. Shota was sharp, even froze a few batters. His only run given up was a home run to Stanton. Top of the 6th, tied up. Dansby Swanson delivers a go-ahead 2-run homer. That's his first homer since July 4th. And that was enough to give the Cubs the win. The Cubs take the series and win 4-1 in the Bronx. Let's check out the Sox and Cleveland. Jump into the 6th inning. Sox trail 4-3. Andrew Benintendi tied it up with this swing. That's his 11th homer on the season. Bottom of the 8th, Sox down 5-4. Luis Robert Jr. doubled down the left field line. Just like that, the Sox tied up again, now 5 apiece. In extras, runners at the corners. The Guardians get a fly ball out deep enough to have the runner tag up. The Sox battle but fall 6-5 in the 10th. Rivets and Skycarp were active for our area baseball teams. In the Northwoods League, the Rivets faced the Growlers. The Rivets won that one 7-6. Swinging over to High A, the Skycarp beat the Dragons 8-3. Let's check out some of the best tennis players in the world going head-to-head. Championship point number 2 for Sinner. And Alcaraz cannot return the serve. Jannik Sinner is your 2025 Wimbledon champion. The match is finished 4-6, 6-4, 6-4, and 6-4. The 23-year-old sure has a bright future. The Winnebago County Amateur Golf Tournament has been going strong since 1954. Another group of men took to the course today in Rockton to decide another championship. Day 2, the final day at Mactown. There were some great shots on this 4th hole. How about this chip in by Ryan Sadler for a birdie? Great job, Ryan. Moments later on the same hole, this is Dallas Tracer. Long putt for the birdie. That ball finds the hole. Dallas was a pretty happy guy. Brian Silvers of Byron had a good round. He drops a short putt. He shot a 70 to tie for 5th place overall. And here is defending champion Drew Greigill. He's a Hononegah graduate from a few years back. Greigill put together rounds of 71 and 70. The only man to break 70 in both rounds was this guy, Cody Reimer. He shot a 4 under par, 67 yesterday and a 69 today. Reimer wins the Winnebago County Amateur Championship for his 2nd time in his career. And let's take a look at the final leaderboard. Reimer finished 6 under to win by a wide margin of 5 strokes. Greigill and Ken Lee tied for 2nd at 1 under par. Zach Schwartzbach finished 4th at even par, and Brian Silvers and John Kriske tied for 5th at 1 over par. That's sports. We'll be right back.
When I was driving in today, I was thinking of you because I was looking and I'm like, why is there that haze in the sky? But then I remembered he said there was some smoke, the wildfire smoke. Did you see it out there?
I did not, and I'm glad I'm not doing cardio outside because maybe I don't know how that affects the lungs and me being asthmatic, so maybe it's good I'm staying out of that.
You know, sometimes that wildfire smoke can get its way down to the surface. Thankfully today, limited impacts to our air quality. You may notice a little bit of that hazy kind of horizon look, but thankfully things, for the most part, staying up in the atmosphere. And we'll eventually see some improvements even to that as we head through the night tonight and going into tomorrow. We'll also stay dry, free of cloud cover as we head into the evening and overnight hours as well. So high pressure overhead, that keeps us dry. The first warn interactive radar from Rockford, Glass and More. Temperature wise, we're going to continue to see numbers fall back down here into the evening with much less humidity, back down into the low 60s. There's a look at some of that wildfire haze as we head here into the evening as well with our Mercy Health SkyTrack camera out there in Poplar Grove. As we head here into the evening, I guess I forgot to put the 7-day forecast up. So I'll just have to ad-lib it here the rest of the way.
We'll
Temperatures
test your knowledge here.
mid-80s as we head over the next few days. Increasing humidity. We'll eventually see our rain chances Wednesday into Thursday.
Off the tongue, look at that. Thanks, Jordan. And thank you for joining us. We'll see you later tonight.